to Black Light Mass Incarceration Show. I am your host, Sierra Cobb. Black Light Mass Incarceration Show is a space that is used to uplift the unheard voices of the criminal and social justice issues that many face today. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoy. All right, Jovon, go ahead and introduce yourself and just talk a little bit about yourself to the Blacklight audience.
Okay, all right. How everybody doing? My name is Jovon Wash. I am 41 years old currently. I was arrested March 2nd, 2007. So I've been incarcerated roughly 17, going on 18 years in North Carolina. Originally, I'm from Gary, Indiana. My reason for coming into North Carolina was to attend college. I was given a scholarship to Livingstone College in Salisbury, North Carolina during 2002, 2003. So I came here. I was in North Carolina roughly 4 years until that one tragic day being arrested on campus, questioned by officers, detectives of Salisbury and Concord Police Departments about some local robberies at Edgar drugstores. Being in my class at 8, 9 o'clock that morning, I was called to the health center, which was the chief's office of Livingstone College, and questioned by detectives. Like I said, I went in, not knowing what's going on. They questioned me about local robberies, about 15, 20 minutes. And during that time period, I kept denying, saying I had nothing to do with it. I haven't heard anything about what's going on with these robberies. In the midst of that, one detective, it was three different detectives. One detective was writing notes down. The other one was telling me that, you're not under arrest, we're just here to talk to you. So as it kept going on and on during interrogation, I'm like, man, I'm about to get up and leave, get up out of here. And they're like, if you get up and leave, we're going to arrest you. During the time period, they going back and forth, good cop, bad cop. Um, Sent the form out saying a Miranda warning, Miranda rights, put me in handcuffs, took me to Salisbury Police Station. During that time period, they went to a home that I was renting with a roommate, went in to search the home without a search warrant. But in the midst of me being at the Salisbury Police Station, they claimed they got a warrant to go search the house. So I was incarcerated since that time period, given $500,000 bond. I'm going through two different law enforcement agencies, which is Concord and Salisbury. So it's Cabarrus County and Rowan County. So I'm going back and forth to two different counties during the 29 months that I was awaiting trial. I went through 5 or 6 different attorneys, one paid attorney that I had in Rowan County. In 2009, I went to trial in Cabarrus County, was found guilty on 3 counts. I was charged with 6 counts of robbery. During those trials, the first trial, no witnesses identified me in any robberies. They had no surveillance tapes. My interrogation was not videotaped. They had no really physical evidence to actually point me to those crimes or put me in those crimes. No testimony for anybody to identify me. Each person that got robbed during those robberies never identified me at trial or before trial. So basically, the reason they claimed they came to talk to me was for a thumbprint on the countertop in the first robbery. And they came to me and said that that was the reason for questioning me. But it wasn't a whole handprint. It was supposedly a latent thumbprint that linked me to the crime. Like I
Mm-hmm.
said, I've never been in trouble before, no priors. The only reason that my prints would be on file was because I did own a couple handguns, which were legally registered in my name in North Carolina and both Indiana. So that was the reason for them talking to me, they claim. But outside of all that, me signing that paper for that Miranda warning, which is the end of a confession that was written in the officer's name, when the officer's handwriting, I'm sorry. Nothing was in my handwriting. And that's what ultimately convicted me of the crimes. So during the midst of this, being incarcerated since 2007, I've been at 5 or 6 different prisons in the state of North Carolina. In 2007, 2017, I was at Hyde Correctional in North Carolina Center on Actual Innocence. Actually came to see me investigating the case for the second time. They finally came to, talk to me, sit down. And the lady that came in, she said she'll get back with me after sitting down with me for about an hour.
Mm-hmm.
They got with me about a month. About a month later, saying that they really couldn't investigate further with the crimes because they were saying it was basically like no way for them to investigate the officers and the statements going on, but they said they didn't actually say that, they believe either side. They were just saying that, it's hard to investigate all, they had to go back and basically recant their statements or whatever went on during the interrogation. So they couldn't investigate further. So around 2022, I just kept hearing things about podcasts. So I decided to give a go at my own podcast and try to get my story out there. So I began on the Anchor app, just messing around just to see if somebody on the outside can record me on a prison phone.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, first episode I did went through pretty good, sounded okay, and I started Convent in 2022, which is now on Spotify. And I began to tell my story in the first few episodes, just about what's going on in the case, try to get some light going on in my case. And midway through the first season, I kept getting more and more listeners. I decided to add other guys I was incarcerated with, tell their stories, some guilty, some innocent. A lot of guys been incarcerated for 20, 30 years trying to get out. Yeah, juvenile offenders in here. So I began to interview those guys. And more people came along listening. And now I'm in season 2. I finally got picked up by another network, which is now on Roku TV. It's Kingdom TV Network, and they are basically putting me on their network to, highlight convict guys that's incarcerated also. So that's what I got going on.
So let's kind of backtrack a little bit. What did you come? So you had a scholarship. Was it for sports or just a scholarship because of grades?
A scholarship. It was an academic scholarship. It was a presidential scholarship, which was going to give it to like 5 students per year. They come in, incoming freshmen coming in. So they gave me a presidential scholarship, academic. I was majoring in business administration and business marketing.
So what made you want to pick Livingston College?
Well, I actually transferred. My first year, I was at the University of Indianapolis in Indiana. And after 1 year down there, during the summertime, the vice president of Livingstone was trying to get me to come to Livingstone. He was from my hometown.
Mm-hmm.
Him and my mom had touched bases during the summer of my freshman going to sophomore year. And he asked me to come down and visit the college, come check it out. So I never actually thought about going to school in the South. I said, well, I'll come down and, see what's going on. Basically, I was taking out like, I think $1,500, $3,000 loan to go to.
This call is from a North Carolina correctional facility.
So he had a free ride all the way through, so I went ahead and came to North Carolina.
And I bet you didn't imagine like taking a scholarship would end in incarceration, right?
No way. Never thought about it.
Yeah, I believe it. So it's crazy how, fingerprints are supposedly used as evidence. But they couldn't explain. So have you ever been to that Rite Aid? Like maybe a week before?
Yeah, we had actually one of them is right down the street from where I was actually renting a house at. And I had been in there before, and that's where they went there, started out talking to me. Have you ever been inside the store? I'm like, yeah, I've been in, And they never asked me, like, what dates or what time period. They was asked, have you been there before? And I'm like, yeah, I've been there. But what's ironic about it is it's a public countertop. And they claim that the testimony from the person that got robbed said that the guy jumped over the countertop. Now, in the midst of that, there's 2 different stories because one of them testifies that, okay, the guy had on gloves. So I'm like, if he had on gloves, how was the print ever found on the countertop?
Right.
The other one said, well, they can't remember he had on gloves. And then they went back and said, well, he didn't have on gloves. But if he jumped over that countertop, it would have been a whole handprint. So my lawyer was trying to basically argue that, saying, well, how could a thumbprint be down? And the guy leaped over a counter, jumped over a counter, and only had a thumbprint. They actually contacted the countertop. He had to have a bonded, arm or hand to try to do that, propel himself over the glass countertop like that. So It was kind of inconsistencies in that story, but that wasn't what was supposed to be robbed because they went into a safe room and the guy took out money, but in the midst of that, he supposedly turned off a TV monitor or touched the safe, all these things, and they never had prints come out of that office, but the only print came from that public countertop.
So my question is, by being a public countertop, how come it wasn't multiple handprints instead of
Right,
just
right, right,
one? And
right. They never
then
talked about that. Right.
right, and then they didn't give you a time or date. And just because you go into a store doesn't necessarily mean you touch the countertop. Because I mean, I've been in CVS, Rite Aid several times and never touched the countertop. You know what I mean? Like if you're buying something, you
Yeah,
just
yeah.
you place your items
And
down.
I believe also that one of the ladies that was at that store tonight did say that she cleaned the countertop in that area, and she said it wouldn't have been a lot of prints. So that print from the person jumping over the countertop, that's what they picked up from. That was one of her testimonies. But they never, like I said, I think they finalized. I think the FBI fingerprint expert came in and said it was like 10 or 15 prints that he ended up identifying. He narrowed it down to 5, and then ultimately down to mine being the print that's the closest possible match. The thumbprint, being the closest possible match, but he didn't get all 5 fingers. He just got a thumbprint. So that's what came them talking to me. I think that was like a March robbery. They didn't come talk to me until October 2006, which is like 5, 6 months later.
So that kind of reminds me of like my husband's scenario because he's also been wrongfully convicted of a crime he didn't commit. And they claimed that they
Okay.
had got a one latent fingerprint off of a shotgun, which to me is, and it was his non-dominant hand, which to me is crazy because when somebody holds a shotgun, they hold it with all four hands besides,
Oh,
when you're holding the
right.
trigger, like I mean, all five fingers. So why would you just get an index finger, on a shotgun? And that was supposed to be the hand that he was holding it supposedly, but it was witnesses saying that he never even had a gun. So the whole fingerprint thing to me is just it's wild. I know that they've been doing a lot about, some of the DNA being junk science and it not being accurate about fingerprints and the imprints on the bullets and things of that nature. And in North Carolina it's hard to really get free when you didn't do anything. Like they make it really hard. So did you have an appeal?
Yeah. I did, the formal direct appeals. I did both of those. Both of those also got denied. So now I am actually finally coming around obtaining an attorney, hopefully. So I sent in a little bit of money to try to, obtain a lawyer, and I'm waiting on some scenarios to try to go through to see how I can sometimes get some type of relief. I haven't filed any MARs, which is motion for relief. I didn't file any of those yet. So I did. Basically, my first sentence, Cabarrus County, I was given 16 to 20 years for 3 counts. And I was also box carded my second trial in Rowan County and given an additional 24 added to that. So they gave me a lot of time for it, basically,
That's
coming out
crazy.
of it.
I don't know if you've interviewed Terrence Smith, but I know he was box carded as well, for a crime he didn't commit either. The whole box carting thing. Did they say why they boxed? Is it because you didn't take a plea deal? Is that why they box
No,
carded you?
no, I never had a sentencing hearing, and I learned that later on being incarcerated. That you're supposed to have a sentencing hearing, do those things. My sentencing hearing was basically what level is he? Level 1 at the first trial. They never gave any aggravating factors
You have 60 seconds remaining.
to go along to try to, basically mitigate factors, supposedly. They didn't do any of those things. He just gave me the max aggravated range and box carded all of them. And another thing I forgot to tell you, too, also, with the second trial that I went to, I had the same district attorney that convicted me in the first trial, along with the same judge. In 2 different trials, 2 different counties, 4 years apart.
You have 30 seconds remaining.
Do you want me to
Yeah, you can
call
call.
back,
Yeah,
continue, or
yeah, call back.
okay,
All right.
okay.
Okay. So why'd you have two trials?
I was arrested in two different counties, and both agencies decided to prosecute in two separate counties. It was Cabarrus County and Rowan County. They charged me 6 counts altogether. So I had 3 Rowan, 3 Cabarrus. I went to trial in 2009 for 3 counts. Sat in prison 4 years before my second trial. Went back again. They used basically the same information from the first trial. Went through again, the same detectives, all that. I wouldn't say it was double jeopardy, but it kind of, like I said, it kind of was because it was the same people outside of the people from the different stores that were in Rowan County, but the same detectives. I had the same judge, same district attorney in both trials. And I said, I don't know where to do that at.
So they was trying to
But I had
basically say you robbed all of them
everything that was in Rowan and Cabarrus County. They charged me with all of them.
off of one fingerprint, supposedly.
Yep, that's what it was. 6 different instances. They charged me with all of them.
That is that is beyond wild. Like I done heard some crazy stories about people being incarcerated and wrongfully convicted, but that I ain't that's crazy.
Yep,
Like that's
yep.
that don't even that that's wild. And the fact that you had absolutely no criminal record, right?
No record, no prior record. Never been convicted. Never been in prison. Any of that.
Wow. First time, supposedly a first time offender, and then they didn't even take that into
Yeah,
consideration.
no, I never even heard it first time. First time offender on that. Never heard of it. And I think I had a lot of incompetent attorneys also.
This
Listen,
call is from a North Carolina correctional facility.
I'm not here
Both my trial attorneys.
to drag on anybody, but I think that happens a lot in North Carolina. Um,
It does. They overwork. They overwork.
they are,
They
and
are.
they're underpaid, and they could really, they just be trying to get through trials as quick and as fast as possible because a lot of them have like 200, some of them have like 200 murder cases. Like, I couldn't imagine having to work 200 murder cases with a little bit of, funds because they don't get much funds like the DAs do. They get all the funds in the world. But I mean, it's just a
Right.
tragedy that you have so many people incarcerated for something they didn't do, and then when you trying to get out and prove your innocence, it's so hard. Like, it's easy to get in there, but then it's so hard to get out. I mean, we in the same
It is.
situation. Like, we can't find, literally nobody. And my husband was forced into a plea deal and got the most time. And like the person that actually, did the crime and shot the person that passed away got, a lot less than him. And it was four of them involved supposedly, but three of them was outside and didn't know what was going on. But he got the most time, and so that's another reason why we kind of started our podcast. And we started at first when I was working with Emancipate, and we've been going since 20. It's been since 2022. We've been going, and so we've just been as well highlighting people who have been wrongfully convicted. Like, that's a major thing on our podcast is just wrongful convictions and just the treatment of how people are incarcerated, how they get treated, especially the ones who shouldn't even be in there but are subjected to the treatment. And so we just wanted to
Yeah.
bring awareness and get people to be aware and understand that what you hear and see about this justice, supposedly justice system, is not what it's about. Like, it's not about justice. It's really about
It's not.
how many people can I incarcerate or how many convictions can I get. It's not about the truth.
How many
And
bodies? How many bodies can you put in prison?
right, right.
Modern day slavery. That's all it comes down to.
That's it, especially here in the South. And I don't think people really, understand that. And then just to see like the minimal things done to get relief is crazy because I was working with a few people out in Washington State, and their head public defender was like he's doing everything he can to get people out. They have a new law that they had passed where if you were convicted of a crime or you were wrongfully convicted, like they'll help you find an attorney to represent you to get out. Like, he was like, I don't want to be part of the problem. I want to be part of the solution. And I wish we had more of that here, but it seems like we can't get that. So I'm going to school currently in criminal justice, taking up major, and then hopefully go to law school. And they actually want me to come out there and work. because you don't have to go to law school out there. You just work up under the public defender. To kind of help people, because I just don't feel like it's enough help to get people out, or enough urgency to get people out. And I've heard people pay like $30,000 and $40,000, and then the attorney be like, "I can't help you," or they still don't get no relief, and that's wild to me.
Right, robber.
You
They
know?
say I'm a robber, and they robbing people.
Right. So tell us
Yeah.
about, besides the podcast, which is a major accomplishment, what other things have you been able to accomplish being in there?
Well, it's minimal because just recently they started back forcing me to take college courses in North Carolina. At first, you had to come out your pocket to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think now, in the last year and a half, they just passed a different law. We can actually take classes. But before that, I signed up for every class available. Whatever the institution had, I done took brick masonry, certified electrical wiring, dental tech, veterinarian tech, learn how to do dentures. I've taken computer information systems, reupholstery. I've done almost any class available. The small, big four chains courses. I've done all those. I've been busy, been working. I had multiple canteen jobs, recreational clerk. Just normal, just working and going to school, passing the time by. I penned two different books that actually aren't published yet, but I penned them, so I just waiting on how to get it published. And really, I'm waiting to come home to get them published. I want to get them published from here. Basically, have somebody rob me
Right.
of all the rights and things that I do. But they're nonfiction books. One of them called Sophisticated Convict, and the other was like a biography of what went on with me being incarcerated. So I'm just waiting to get released and put those out there. I've been in here working out, basically picked up personal training, not certified yet, but picked that up. That's something I love doing. So I've been doing it for the last maybe 10 years. That's about it.
So if you are, granted release, like what are your hopes when you come out? I mean, you lost so much time for no reason.
Yeah, I came in being called nephew by the old heads, and now the young guys calling me unc now. So nephew to unc, like, what's up, unc? Like, man, I'm 41 years old. I ain't man, my uncle 40. So I'm like, all right. So yeah, I lost a little bit of time. So just getting out. I've got a good support system. My mom passed when I was on the street
This call is from a North Carolina correctional facility.
in 2004. I have no kids, never been married. I got aunts and uncles, cousins. So, just come home and start fresh.
Are you
That's
leaving North
it.
Carolina?
Family support. Oh, definitely. I never come back unless it's come back to help out some brothers that's still incarcerated. But yeah, I'm through in North Carolina.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I understand that. That's what I told my husband. I said, "You get out, we gone." Like I didn't handle enough of North Carolina. After this, I don't want to see it no more. After this, that's it. I get it.
Nah, nah.
I get it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's it.
Um. Yeah. I mean, definitely. Help your brothers out. Because a lot of people get out and then they forget about the ones that that's still in there. So yeah, we definitely need to do. That's why I'm trying to do what I can. I think you might be in there with one guy actually advocated for a few years back, and he ended up getting a lot less time. They was trying to convict him of capital murder, but there was absolutely no evidence, and so
Oh yeah. I got him. Yeah.
yeah,
Lester Turner.
yeah, I
Yeah, he's
advocated
supposed
for
to be
him.
getting on convict. He's supposed to be getting on convict soon. We've been talking. He got a lot of things going on, so I don't know how the interview's gonna go. But yeah, I just met him actually 2 weeks ago. I've been here with him for a little while. Just about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I was able to help him not be convicted of capital murder because they was trying to take that man up out of here. Um,
Yeah, I heard. I heard.
yeah, so I mean I think it's important, that's another reason why I have my podcast is to encourage people to get into advocating pretrial because it can make a difference. Like I mean, just by doing press conferences and having his family on TV, I think really helped everybody to see that the state was just trying to get this man because, you know, he had been in that area for a minute and the prosecutor actually used to be his attorney. um, so that was wild, and yeah, so you know, it was a bunch of crazy stuff going on. That's what goes on here, you know what I mean? And so yeah, and so you know, I don't know what would happen if I wouldn't have been there because I went to all his court dates that I could when I first got into it, and even they tried to put me on a witness list, and I still snuck up in there because I mean, how you gonna put me on a witness list and this thing been going on like 2 years before I even came. Um, but I mean, it's important, you know what I'm saying? That changes the whole dynamic for people when you have a team to advocate for you pre-trial. Because once you get in there and they convict you, it's hard. Yeah, it's real hard. It's hard.
Right.
But I know my husband said he would like to be on your podcast as well. He's usually my co-host. But we haven't been doing it in a while because we got retaliated on for doing our podcast, and being extreme advocates. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of been a little different, man. I'm in here. I got a blessing from the warden, so they haven't shut it down. Started that. I'm not talking about any prison affairs, like I said. I'm just basically talking about what goes on in prison from the guy's perspective. Interviewing them, asking questions about the case here and there. A lot of them just talk about just everyday life being in here. They're doing pretty good right now. So y'all check it out. It's Convent. That's CON_VENT. You download Spotify, put in Convent, and it'll pop up. And my Roku TV, I think it just went viral this week. So you go to Kingdom TV Network, it should be under their imprint. Dr. Charlene Abrams, he's the CEO of Kingdom TV Network, and that's on Roku. So he's going to be highlighting a lot of episodes for Convent. So check it out.
Yeah, I definitely will. And let people know about Blacklight. We've been going for a minute. We got a pretty huge following. We get heard all over, not just the United States, but outside the United States as well. Especially when we were rolling, like having interviews every week. But things kind of slowed down a little bit. But I still try to give them a little taste. I interview people not just from North Carolina, but from Virginia. I had a guy from Arizona. So I just try to get the people that have really been wrongfully convicted out there, and then even the ones that are guilty, just kind of tell their story and highlight stuff because the system is crazy. So yeah,
I appreciate it. I appreciate all of that, man. I appreciate what you're doing. Thank you for getting back with me about my story also. If there's anything that I can help you out with in the future, or anything, like I said, you want me to do, let me know, and I'll try to get it done. Just talking to some more people in here about their stories and linking them up with you, I can do that. Personally, what I got working on now, it won't be too long. I know how the system goes, but I'm really optimistic about what's going on with the case, and I think that I ain't got long, man. I'll be out there soon, so if you need me to do anything, I will do it.
Well, I appreciate it. Same here. If you want to do a cross promotion, I'll be on your show, my husband be on your show, whatever. And we can stream it through our show just to kind of promote both shows even more. I'm down for it because it's something that needs to be promoted and uplifted and really paid attention to. You know what I mean?
Yep.
All right, Jovon. Well, I appreciate it. And
right, no
definitely
problem.
take care, and we'll
You have 60 seconds remaining.
We'll put the link to your podcast on ours so people can get to it.
Okay. I appreciate it. I thank you for everything, and I get that with you and find out all the information for me.
Okay, sound good. Take care.
All right.
All right. Bye. So, Blacklight, that was another wrongful conviction. You know how we feel about wrongful convictions over here. I appreciate y'all's support. I know that I haven't really been posting or, dropping episodes like I was. Things a little different. Life has changed a little bit. Got a few things going to school, as you heard, for criminal justice, and had some sickness and some death in the family. So it's just been a little hectic, but I promise I'll get back to getting as many episodes as possible and just keep highlighting what is going on in the system. nationwide, worldwide, because everybody is experiencing, some type of incarceration or has experienced some type of incarceration, and just keep advocating and showing that we have to stand together and stand up together, because if not, nothing will change. We'll continue to be where we are. Like I said, I have been retaliated against for just my advocacy and even being on the podcast speaking about, things that go on inside the prison. Of course, we know they don't like that. So I just really appreciate your support. I will do an episode about it, and let you know what happened and why I was retaliated on. But just thank you for your support. Thank you for listening. Please continue to share, we're on YouTube. Follow us there. So until next time, Black Light, take care.